This episode is brought to you by Ivy and Rose Co. Natural, vegan, and Australian-made skincare. Head to ivyandroseco.com.au to shop the Luxe range today. Welcome back to It's All Her, the podcast. I'm your host, Jordy Lucas. I'm the founder and editor of It's All Her. I was an actress in a previous life, and I'm a mum to a toddler. I've got a lot going on, and I have a passion for helping women live simpler, better lives. For the latest in lifestyle and entertainment news, head to itsallher.com. Welcome, happy Monday, or whatever day it is that you're listening to this episode. I hope you're well. Now, this intro is going to be short and sweet because we have a big, juicy interview with Rachael Finch today, and I want to get straight into it. So I caught up with Rachael and we spoke about so much. She opened up about her disordered eating when she was a younger model and the turning point for her when she realised she needed to make a change. We speak about business. Rachael and her husband have multiple businesses to their name, so we talk about how they stay on top of it all and create time for their relationship. And Rachael reveals the ugly side of Instagram, sharing some of the comments she's received about raising her children. All of this and more, here's my chat with the divine Rachael Finch. Rachael Finch, thank you so much for joining us on It's All Her this week. I am so excited to have you on. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be on. Thanks for having me.
We're here to talk about Kissed Earth, but I want to take it all the way back to the beginning before we get to that. Can you tell us a bit about your early life and maybe some of your early goals and aspirations as a young woman?
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember a huge chunk of my childhood was spent outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I would come home from school and I'd be playing in the dirt on the spare block and building race courses and sand castles or dirt castles. I did a lot of athletics. I did touch football. I did cross country, all the extracurricular sports at school. So lots of before and after school training, traveling with sport teams, competing in competition. So very sport and movement focused.
Yeah.
And my goal was actually to compete at the Olympics for long jump and 200 meters. So I really wanted to achieve that and started training for that and getting more serious. Then when I was 15, I was approached by this weird guy in the airport who gave me a form for a local modeling competition. And he's like, come and enter my modeling competition. And I was like, oh, this is a bit scary.
It's so weird.
And then I thought, oh, okay. I took the form home. And Mum and I thought, what the heck? Let's try something different. I had not wore a pair of high heels or put makeup on. I was very much a tomboy, still pretty much am a tomboy, and decided to enter, and I was lucky enough to win. And I remember them calling my name, 35, 35. And it was me, and I just had no clue. And, and someone ended up saying, go to the front.
Yeah.
And got a contract with an agency in Brisbane, which led me to spend a little bit of time there shooting, building my modelling portfolio book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I travelled to New Zealand, did a 6-month stint there. Then I went to Singapore. Then I found myself in New York and London and Germany and all around the world.
Crazy.
Just modeling and working from country to country, building my book and working as a full-time model. So it was an incredible experience, something I never envisioned.
Yeah.
And it was when I was about 19, 20 that I decided that I was a little bit homesick and I just really wanted to come home.
Mm-hmm.
I missed my friends, I missed my family, and I entered the Miss Universe Australia competition.
Yeah.
And the first year I actually didn't make the top 20, I think. And then I went back the second year, and that was when I was lucky enough to win. And everything kind of flew from there. I was offered jobs with Channel 7. I participated on Dancing with the Stars, where I met my husband. And then I think from that momentous point, everything is history from there.
Yeah. So when did you sort of think I want to make a career out of this and perhaps delve into the presenting and stuff like that?
I never really envisioned my life as, working in this industry, whether it be media or television or working, having my own businesses. There was no idea or concept in my mind in any way, shape, or form that this is what I wanted to do. I have always been someone that's just kind of lived day to day and really enjoyed just being in the moment and having the experience that's in front of me. So I just loved doing what I was doing, and it just by chance that I fell into these opportunities. And it's funny because by being now in all of these opportunities, it's really opened my eyes to the importance of planning, to the importance of thinking ahead, to the importance, especially as a mum, what life do I want for my kids? What food am I going to have for them? What do I want for their future? So it's really important. I've been really blessed that the opportunities have given me so much more in terms of perspective.
Yeah. I was reading up on you before coming into this interview, and I read an article where you were talking about some really unhealthy habits that you developed during your years as a model. And I think one of the headlines was that you were living off caffeine and diet drinks and really not nourishing your body. Was there a turning point for you where you thought, I really need to look after myself, or was it a gradual process?
There was definitely a turning point. There was definitely as well a gradual progression to that turning point, but I kind of ignored my body's clues up until that turning point. So there was a period in my life for about just over two, well, it was probably longer than 2 years, probably about 3 years, where I was really, really strict with my diet and my exercise. I would have a little bit more than caffeine and diet soft drinks, but I used to consume them a lot. So I was cutting out whole food groups like carbohydrates, fats. I used to look at these things and think, that is going to make me fat. That is going to make me put on weight. And it was my own perception and my own pressure that I put on myself to look a certain way and to be a certain shape in order to book jobs for the industry that I was in. So I was going to the gym every day for over 2 hours. As I said, I was cutting out food groups. I was going into bed at 7 p.m., waking up at 7 a.m. with 12 hours sleep, and I was still getting up just like, I'm just exhausted, It was terrible. So for over 2 years, I lost my menstrual cycle. So something so natural for the body was just not happening, and I wasn't listening. So I just kept going and going and going. And then there was a morning where I woke up and I just thought, I am just so tired of being tired. It was just as simple as that. So I knew lying in bed that morning that something needed to happen, a shift needed to happen. And it's almost like I looked back and I felt back to when I was a child and I was competing in the sport, and I did have that beautiful balance of movement and eating normal, what you would consider a normal childhood diet and lifestyle. And I remember thinking, I just don't feel like that anymore. And so I just dove headfirst into research. I studied health coaching at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York. I studied personal training. I did my teacher training course for yoga teacher training. I just read and read, but I also did a lot of inner self-discovery of what a balanced, holistic life means for me. And one term that we learned in IIN was bio-individuality. So that's one person's food might be another person's poison. Everyone is so completely different, So you might thrive on a plant-based diet. I might thrive eating meat. That's not to say one's bad or one's good. It's just that we are also complex. Our DNA is different. Our cultural makeup is different. Our background is different. What we're used to as children is different. So it's so important to nourish and nurture and listen to that and dive deep into your intuition every day and listen to what messages your body is giving you. So I was ignoring that for so long, and I'm going, no, I'm fine. I'll go to the gym. I'm fine. I'll keep pushing. No, I'll cut out. I don't care. I don't care what I feel like. I don't care what my body's trying to say. I'll just keep eating the same thing every day. I'll have my tuna salad with balsamic vinegar. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
And was that just because the goal was just to be thin for the modeling?
Yep. I just thought I needed to look a certain way in order to book those jobs, to walk on those runways. And I had a couple of people in the industry tell me that if you were 5 kilograms lighter, you would be perfect.
Oh,
So, there was definitely moments where as a teenager, you question what is right and how you look. So, yeah, that, I guess, it had a huge impact, but I didn't know it at the time.
having had that experience and being told those things, if your daughter came to you and said, Mummy, I want to be a model, I want to walk on runways, how would you feel?
I think it's different now. I think with my knowledge and education and experience of what I went through and just being an adult now, if she wanted to do that, I don't think it would be a no, you can't go there. It's just all about the education at home. And it's about me guiding her with the information and the tools to equip her with the experience ahead. So I can see she's already asking and inquisitive now about certain things. She asked about periods. She asked what I'm doing in the bathroom. She asked why that's happening, And I think that's really beautiful, and I think we shouldn't deny that. It's not, oh, turn away, or you can't look, or don't ask those questions, or I'll tell you when you're older, or later. It's like they're asking, they're seeing, they need to know. And I think it's up to us as parents to be able to deliver the information in a way that resonates with them and that they understand, and in the language that they can comprehend.
And I guess then if you don't show any shame over it, then she won't.
Exactly. When they're showering, I call a vagina and I call a penis.
Yeah.
And, they giggle and laugh and carry on. But I think that's important. Like, we should be, the terminology and the jargon and the language that we're using should be, I don't know, I think we shouldn't, I want to say we shouldn't treat them as kids, like we shouldn't be too childish towards them. But at the same time, they're children. So of course we should, but we should almost, respect that they too are learning for the first time. And I think we need to be careful with the words that we choose.
Yeah. You've been quite open about your explant surgery online. Was the decision to remove your implants, did that sort of come up because you had come into this holistic lifestyle?
It definitely wasn't because I am now living a holistic lifestyle and I have a health brand and I'm meant to be this certain way. Absolutely not. It was purely a personal internal decision that I was thinking about for a very long time, and something that was really, really close to me, and something that I was really hesitant about sharing as well because it is so personal. But it's something that I'm really glad I shared, and it's something that I feel like, I had so many women reaching out to me that were in similar situations or going through similar symptoms that I had along the way, that were asking me so many different questions about the experience and what to expect and what they should do and what my advice was, like hundreds of them, And so I really found that as a powerful message. And I think I think it's really important for people, especially in the digital online space, to be as real and authentic as possible. People have got to continue. We know that behind the screen, it's not all picture perfect like it presents to be. But I think the more we can continue to demonstrate that it is just a normal, real person behind there, then the better off society will be, because we're not comparing ourselves and we're not constantly going, my life isn't perfect. So that's why I wanted to do it. I just wanted to hopefully reach even just one person and share that experience with them.
So what sort of symptoms were you experiencing?
So for a couple of years, before getting them out, I started to get all sorts of random stuff happening. Like, I would get random sharp pains, particularly in my right breast. That was the one that actually had the intercapsular contracture.
Yeah.
And it was just different areas of the breast would just be painful. Sometimes I couldn't get to sleep at night because it was just like pulsating pain. And I was just like, this is not good. Like, something's not right. Unexplained headaches, unexplained migraines, fatigue, tiredness, just overall low energy. I used to have to work really hard to try and like get my energy back up, or I'd have a big day and it would take me forever to recover, and I'd need like a good 2 days of like doing nothing to just get back to normality. So fatigue was a big one. You could tell that my body was trying to fight in all different ways to try and keep up. So all of these things, and I just, obviously I knew I had them. I knew that they were in there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But I didn't exactly know that it was that. I couldn't see inside my chest. Yeah. So that's when I started to get scans and tested and asking questions and seeing doctors. Then I had a scan, which the doctor told me was fine. I went back 6 months later because the pain kept getting worse. The second doctor told me it was fine again. Then it got so bad that I'm like, this is no, I'm
right.
I swear something is wrong. So I had an MRI and a third opinion, and my doctor, who actually did my surgery, Dr. Miroshnik here in Sydney, he's like, you actually have intercapsular contracture.
So what is that?
That is when the silicone implant inside the bioseal, which is a layer of skin that the body creates to protect it from the implant.
Yeah.
The implant itself on the inside has ruptured, but it hasn't yet come out of the bioseal. But who knows how secure that bioseal is? That's that thin layer of skin. There's the high chance that it could be leaking or anything could be happening. So this was like, a huge shock. And I was like, why? So many questions. And so I think we ended up operating 7 days later.
Oh, wow.
So I went in, I literally got everything sorted out, got the kids sorted with Misha, and Misha's mum come to help. And I was in surgery, the following week, 1 week later.
How do you feel now?
I feel incredible. I feel like it's me, 100% me. And I feel like really happy to just be in my skin and my energy and just have my body back in its whole entirety. And I feel, it's almost like you have a different outlook and a different perspective on life in general. And I'm just really grateful that, it happened and it all came together the way that it did. And, it could have been 10 times worse. And I'm happy for that, grateful for that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've got so much more energy, and I just feel like, I'm a better person.
That's amazing. Let's talk about business, because you've got a couple of businesses to your name. You're a mum, a wife, a friend, and just a normal woman. How do you not get overwhelmed?
There's definitely days that are more challenging than others. Someone asked me the other day, how do you keep all the plates spinning? And I was like, they get dropped a lot. We're cleaning up mess constantly. But I always like to say it's this beautiful chaos at the moment.
Yeah.
Like things are happening 100 miles an hour, and the kids are moving through life so quickly and going to school and learning and doing tennis and piano. And we've got the businesses and, meetings and product creation and so many things going on. And I love it. I love the feeling of being full. I love the feeling of creating new things and new things that are going to help people as well, that are working in a positive way. So I'm really, I've always been, I love sitting still and I love the quiet, because that's where I regain my energy. But I've always been like, there's something more, like I need to create things and I need to be doing things on a much larger scale. And I can't just sit and watch and let it all go by.
Tell me about the team around you in terms of who have you surrounded yourself with to get these businesses up off the ground?
So first and foremost, Misha and I have started everything, which is my husband. So we met 12 years ago on Dancing with the Stars, and ever since, first thing we did was open a dance studio. Then that expanded quite quickly, and we took it online. And then all of our online community members started asking us questions about collagen and protein and what they should take and why they should take it. it was purely by accident that we started Kissed Earth and created these products and started reaching out to food scientists and nutritionists and graphic designers and people that could help us put all of this together. There's been a lot of meetings. There's been a lot of weaving our way through to get to the right people to make sure that our team are 100% behind our ethos and our values and our morals as well. And so we've been able to form an incredible team of people that we work with on a daily basis to help with everything from customer service to marketing to product creation to we've got a special natural beauty team that works on all of our skincare and sits with us and makes sure that everything is perfect from a ingredient perspective and where we're sourcing it from. We work with our collagen supplies, we work with our warehouses, we work with our manufacturers, we work with our Australia Post, our shipping facility. We work with all of our creative team that help put together all the branding and our logos and the packaging designs. And like, there's so many people behind a brand that you just kind of, if you were all in the one room, there'd be hundreds of you, you know. We're lucky in this day and age that our company is online, so people can have all of their collagen and protein delivered straight to their door, which is amazing. So that allows us to be able to set up anywhere in the world as well, which is fabulous. So all of our team are also in their own areas around the country and around the world as well. So we're regularly on Zoom, we're regularly on Google Meet, any way, shape or form that we can speak via video conference like this or down the line is incredible. So we're very grateful for our team, but it definitely has been one of the challenging parts of the business, finding the right people. I think 1,000 people can put their hand up and say, yep, I can do it. But you know, we are really passionate about and strongly believe that the ingredient and the quality of the product needs to come first. So for a lot of brands, unfortunately, it is a numbers game, and it is about how can we get the numbers down enough and bump up the volume of the product and just mass produce. And so, you know, you're competing against those big global companies in a way, and it's scary because they've got billions of dollars just to splash around at marketing, and you're just like, how are we ever going to compete? But you know what? I think people are becoming a lot more savvy. They're turning products around, they're reading the ingredients, they're going beyond that, and they're learning, they're making an effort to learn more about where the ingredients are coming from, where it's sourced from. So that's awesome to know. And I think transparency is massive in nowadays, and brands should really, I think, place a huge importance on showing exactly where they're sourcing ingredients from and being transparent about everything in the business from top to toe.
Do you think, though, the fact that it's you know, Kissed Earth by Rachael Finch, you're very much the face of the brand, because those global brands don't have that personal connection, it's more important to you to be transparent, perhaps?
100%. It is me behind, or Misha and I behind everything. So we have created everything from the way the logo looks on the front of the packaging to how you get a product delivered to the message that comes through to the ingredients to everything. So of course, accidents happen from time to time. You know, a package might get crushed as it's being thrown into the door by accident, or maybe not by accident, but, you know, something happens. Things, you know, someone might miss an item as they're packing it in the warehouse. And unfortunately, you know, these little small accidents happen. But straight away, I think for us, it's important to fix those and you know, make sure that the customer is always happy. But it's just it's a constant cycle of having to keep things going smoothly, and because we are a part of the brand just as much as any other brand has their name attached to it, we see it as incredibly important to make sure that our customers know everything.
So we had some listener questions come through. How do you encourage your kids to eat healthy, and what about treats?
So the first thing I think is, a lot of people assume that I never give my kids treats. I've had so many comments like, your kids are too thin, you're depriving them from their childhood, they're going to grow with mental disorders, they're going to hate you when they're older, why don't you let them live their life? Because they see me cooking stuff at home, and because I like to share a lot of the healthy versions of what I make, they think that my children are deprived, and it's really sad. But we are very much about the 80-20 rule. So 80% healthy and 20% indulgence. So yes, we make a lot of healthy swaps. I make waffles and chocolate sauce for the kids every day for breakfast. So, well, maybe four days a week, majority of the mornings. But I use healthy swaps for flours. I use raw cacao powder with coconut oil and maple syrup to make the chocolate sauce. So I'm just using healthier ingredients as swaps for traditional, white refined sugar or white bleached flours or things that may not be as good for us as some alternatives. So I'm really passionate about that sort of healthy cooking, and I'm really even more passionate about filling our children's bodies with the best possible ingredients that are nutritious and that are wholesome. I am deciding their future right now in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that makes me so, of course I'm going to fight to make sure my children are eating the best possible produce. Of course I'm going to fill their plate with vegetables first. Of course I'm going to get as much fruit in them as possible. Of course I'm going to go to the extreme measures to make sure I'm planning ahead on my flights and making sure that I've got a snack bag, packed with me so that they don't get hungry. Of course, because it's up to me as their mum to plan their future and turn them into the human being that they become.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer for me, and I think if there's something that they enjoy, it's not about, no, you can't have it. Violet loves ice cream. Dom loves hamburgers with French fries. Violet goes, if I wasn't in this family, I'd be Italian, she says, because she loves pizza, pasta, ice cream, gelato, all that Italian-inspired food. And so we give her that when she wants it. Not all the time, but if we're out on a Saturday, at a cafe or a restaurant for dinner one night, of course she can have pasta with some gelato afterwards. I just make a conscious effort, if she's having that, to order a side salad or some steamed vegetables that she has in conjunction with that. And I know that 80% of the time she is eating very wholesome and nourishing food.
Do you respond to those comments that you get online?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. At the start I was like, oh my God. And for days it just left me just dumbfounded at how people can just be so nasty. And it's like what mum and dad used to say, if you don't have something nice, keep your opinions to yourself. Don't say it at all. You wouldn't walk up to someone on the street and say, your kids are too thin. You just wouldn't say it. Like, I just don't think these people would say it, but because we're now in this digital space and there's, they're hiding behind a keyboard, it's totally different. And so we now have to become a lot more prepared for that. And we have to train and teach our body and our mind to understand that these comments will be fired at us. It will happen. And we need to learn, I think, how to ignore and block them out. Not completely shut off the emotions that come from it. I think that can be dangerous as well, but just acknowledge the emotion, acknowledge what's happened, and then just push it to the side and continue on. And help our kids understand that as well.
Our other question that came in that I thought was fun was, how do you and Misha make time for each other?
It's hard. I think the blessing is that we work together 24/7. So we find ourselves even on date night talking about, the products coming up or how we're going to launch X, Y, or Z, or what special thing are we going to do on Mother's Day this year, or there's always something that we're chatting about. But I think scheduling in time with your loved one is just as important as any other meeting or appointment. So in my diary, it's not like it's just full with work. There are obviously meetings and schedules and commitments that are work focused, but I schedule in our dates or our lunches or all my self-care activities just as much as any other appointment. So I think that's really important for your mental health as well. You know, if it's just go, go, go all in the one direction, everything else gets left behind and you're all of a sudden running on empty and you're wondering why those red lights are flashing, or you have that headache, or you can't get out of bed because you're just so exhausted. So I think it's about going back to what we started the conversation, tuning in, listening to your body on a day-to-day basis, understanding that it's impossible to have the foot on the accelerator every day of the week.
Yeah.
You know, we've set up even our weekly structure. We've set it up in a way. Monday to Friday is work, 9 to 5 traditionally. Saturday and Sunday is the weekend. Rest, recover, recuperate.
Yeah.
Most of us are going outside of those hours. Most of us are working earlier, starting earlier and finish later. We're scrolling through Instagram still at 9 and 10 o'clock at night and answering messages and going through emails and ding, ding and alerts and blue screens. And then we wake up, we're not really refreshed, but we're starting it all over again. Then we get to Saturday and Sunday and we just still go, go, go.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, we're going to be exhausted and fatigued. So I think, I'm just so passionate about self-care and winding down and creating the space for you to just be and do what it is that you love. It's not saying that you've got to sit there for hours on end like a monk meditating. It's go for your walk, pop the kids in the pram and get out to the park and just walk around and be amongst nature. Go to the movies if that's what you love. Have a dive in the ocean and walk along the beach with your feet in the sand. You know, sitting on the couch every morning with your cup of tea or your coffee for those 5 minutes before you start the morning routine. That's something that I absolutely love and that really helps sets me up. So just find what it is in your life and where you can find that space to allow your mind and your body to completely settle and to not be on that hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Where is that, and be consistent about it, and how can you incorporate that in your day-to-day practice?
Yeah. So tell us a bit about Kissed Earth, what's coming up next for Kissed Earth and how we can incorporate that into our daily wellness routine.
So we've got 25 products in the range now. We started with our collagen powders. We started with our greens, our cleanse, and our 2 replenish vegan protein powders.
Yeah.
Then in the first 48 hours of pre-sale, we completely sold out. So we're like, crap, we've got to call the warehouse and how do we order more products? We were just like guessing in the dark. So we restocked, and it's just been this beautiful evolution of new and exciting products. We offer Kids Thrive multi-shakes. We offer pet dog supplement chews. We've got medicinal mushrooms, which is so incredibly powerful. We've got collagen skincare, lots of new and exciting products on the horizon as well, which are pushing the wellness space and are really at the forefront of an ingredient perspective, which we're really excited for. We just had an exciting meeting yesterday. So lots happening there. We would love to see, our goal would be to see people and women from all around the world enjoying Kissed Earth and just feeling the benefits from the products. So for us, that international expansion is really important to us. And something that we're really passionate about. My brother lives in San Diego and Misha's uncle lives in Los Angeles. So we have family over there as well, and we love traveling there to see them, not only see them, but I guess explore the exciting potential of opening Kissed Earth stores over there. And I love healthy stores and healthy cafes. I spend half my life in there, like getting all of my groceries and having a look at all the products. Even just if I don't buy anything, just being in them, I just feel good. There's something nice about it. Everyone's nice. They're saying hello, you know. Yeah. So I would love to see something like that with a Kissed Earth concept in mind down the path.
It's exciting. So at It's All Her, we're all about making life simpler and better for women. How do you do that for yourself?
Every day I'm trying to do that. There are so many things that I implement on a day-to-day basis that are designed to make my life more simple, better, happier, healthier. You know what? I think it goes back to exactly the reason why we do what we do with work is living healthily. The
Mm.
reason why I choose to get into bed early and wake up early, eat healthy, clean meals, drink lots of water, move my body intuitively every day, meditate, socialize with my friends, spend time with my family. I'm trying to balance all of these pieces of the puzzle and all of these aspects as beautifully as possible, because it does set me up for a simpler, better life. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like I don't just do one thing. There's no secret sauce, or there's no magic pill or potion. You can't just take or do one thing and it'll make it all better. It's like you've got to put in the groundwork. You've got to work consistently on your foundations every single day. We know what to do. We've been told before. But if you can just I want to say crack along at everything every day, it sounds wrong, but if you can try to manage to fill all of those buckets and all of those levels on a daily basis, then the outcome is beautiful, you know. And you switch your screen off a little bit earlier. You get into bed at 9. You wake up refreshed. You have your glass of water in the morning. You start slowly. You're filling your plate with a beautiful balanced meal of good fats, complex carbohydrates, good quality protein, lots of veg, fermented vegetables. You consume that mindfully, not over scrolling through or looking at your emails. Mindfully, you're chewing your food, you're looking out, you go for your nature walks, whatever it is, you know. I think if we can try and be consistent with that and honor ourselves and respecting ourselves by making that commitment to our health, then we have so much beauty ready for us waiting in our life.
Because we do tend to overcomplicate it, don't we? But it is quite simple.
It's not difficult, you know. If it's too much, step back from something. If you can't fit everything in, maybe cancel the second tennis lesson throughout the week. If it's too much, take down a piano lesson, or something has to change. You know, if you know that you're over consuming coffee or alcohol is your biggest downfall, maybe step back on the alcohol, decrease the caffeine intake. If you know you don't consume greens, you know what you've got to do. You know, so it's just about assessing where you're at and going, how can I make these small healthy shifts? Boom, boom, boom. You start making that shift. You're like, oh, I feel good. And then you're like, what other shift can I make? Oh, yeah, I feel great. What's an infrared sauna? Oh, my God, I'm going to do that every week. And then you're on this beautiful path of like, I feel vibrant. I feel me. I can think of things clearly. I can remember things. I can recall things. My kids are happy. I'm not grumpy and slumpy. You know, I feel really good. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to have it all. Start slow. Rome wasn't built in a day. Implement all these beautiful, healthy switches step by step, but just appreciate all of the beautiful change along the way.
Rachael, thank you so much for joining us this week on the show. I've loved chatting with you and hearing all your tips and tricks and wisdom. Thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure, beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of It's All Her. If you have loved this episode, please rate, review and subscribe wherever you listen, and I'll be back in your ears next week.